Being prepared can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. In this video, we're going to take a look at a really cool device that will let you know when somebody's either coming up your driveway or coming onto your property or pretty much anywhere that you want to monitor. Coming up next on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose. My name is Brian. Thanks for joining me. So, first of all, I'd like to welcome a new sponsor to the channel, the folks at Guardline. They make this excellent driveway monitor. And when I saw this, actually some other uses came to my mind immediately. And as I mentioned before, I don't just take a new sponsor on lightly. My reputation is on the line, the channel's reputation is on the line. I want to make sure that any company that I accept as a sponsor on the channel has not only what I think is a really good product, but also a really good customer service base. And we're going to talk about that coming up next. That's one of the reasons that I accepted Guardline as a channel sponsor, because not only do I think this is a very useful, handy thing to have for a lot of different reasons, in addition to just monitoring who's coming up your driveway, they also have an excellent warranty and US-based customer service. So I feel really comfortable partnering with Guardline and bringing this video to you. So get that out of the way. The primary function for this is as a driveway monitor, and basically you can set it's got a motion detector here. You can set on a post or on a tree or whatever, and you can check when somebody's coming into your driveway. You know, if you have a long driveway, that could be very handy to have. My last house had like a 600-foot driveway, and you really don't know somebody's coming down the driveway until they get there. So there are a lot of reasons you might want to know somebody's coming onto your property. So this thing's got some really cool features. So what I thought I'd do, in order to try to minimize the rambling and keep things rolling, we'll take you down to the old picnic table here and talk about some of those features and specs. And then we'll do some real-world applications and just to check this thing out. So let's get to that. Okay, so this is the entire Guardline driveway alarm package. You're going to get the sensor. It comes with a sun and weather hood that goes on top of it. You get your receiver. You get a AC adapter, and then they actually give you a screwdriver and some little anchors if you want to mount this on a post or on a wall or something, which I think is pretty handy, because first thing you're going to need to do is put your batteries in the sensor. Now the sensor takes 4 AA batteries, and the receiver actually runs on either AC power or 4 AAA batteries, which I think really gives it a lot more versatility, because that basically means you're not tied to an electrical system at that point in time. So another thing I like to see is the set comes with both a quick start guide and a very good user manual. What I thought we'd do is we'll just go ahead and start out with the batteries. Now it's got a warning on here. These are very small screws, so I've already put the batteries in here, but we'll show you how easy it is to do. So just take the screws out. I like that they give you the screwdriver. I like to see that attention to detail. And their instructions definitely tell you to watch out and don't lose the screws, because they are very small. Another thing I like about the instructions is that they are obviously written by somebody whose first language is English. Nothing against somebody who's not, but as an English-speaking person, sometimes it's very difficult to understand some of the instructions from some manufacturers. So you see, I've got just basically 4 AA batteries in there, and just to show you, the screws are very, very tiny. So they're not kidding about that. Put this back on, and you can see that it only goes one way, so you got longer legs here than here, which is pretty obvious when you got this thing turned upside down. So we will put the screws back on. There we go. Okay, once you have your batteries installed, then you can snap the sunscreen hood on top of it, and that's going to keep the weather off of it, and it's going to keep the sun from kind of interfering with it. This is an infrared motion detector. And then you got screw holes here. You can screw this to a post, or you can zip tie it, or just tie it with a piece of cordage to a tree or whatever in a portable temporary use. Next, we're going to take a look at the receiver. You can see the receiver has 4 numbers on it. That indicates 4 different zones. The basic set comes with 1 sensor and 1 receiver, but you can actually have up to 16 sensors, 4 on each zone with 1 receiver. So you can monitor a wide area with an array of 16 sensors. So you notice there are some controls on here. You got an on-off switch and a volume control and your DC adapter input. Then on the side, you've got some batteries, say pause, reset, melody and battery check, and next learn. This thing has over 30 different alarm tones. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pair your receiver to the sensor. So the first thing you want to do is turn the sensor away from the receiver, so there's no interference there. And then look on the receiver, turn it to on, and then it'll beep a little bit. You got a volume control here. I like to turn that down a little bit because this thing's pretty loud, at least while we're going through this. Okay, and then Next step is going to be to hit the Learn Next button and hold that down 3 seconds until these lights start turning blue. So you'll see the number turn blue. Hopefully you can see the 1 is blue right now, flashing blue. You can go straight to make number 1 your zone that you want to pair it with, but just to demonstrate how it works. If you want to change it to a different zone, you're just going to click the next button one time, click it one time, and now you'll see that the 2 is flashing. So we're going to make this zone 2. The next step in the process is going to be select the melody or the tone you want to play when the sensor is triggered. And to do that, you got a melody button here on the side. So just going to start going through the melody with that. Turn the volume up where you can hear it. So you just start pushing it and it'll cycle you through the melodies. So there's the first one. There's the second one. Fifth one's like little birds. Sixth one. Seventh one. Okay, we're going to go with that one for now. There are like 30 different tones, 30-something different tones in this thing. And the one complaint that I have, maybe I think could be a big opportunity for improvement, is there's really no way of knowing what tone you're set on without cycling through the entire 30. You can't back. There's only it only goes forward every time you push it. There's no way of knowing which tone it is or what number it is. You kind of got to cycle through until you find the one you like, and you got to leave it alone. There's not a button to set that particular tone. It's just whichever the last one that you chose is, that's the one it's going to be. So we've got that tone selected now. I guess that's the Kentucky Derby tone, I'll call it. Next step is going to be to make sure it's paired. So wave your hand a foot away from the sensor to make sure it's paired. Okay, you heard it beep, so that means it's paired. Now we got to get out of the learning mode. So now you hold the Learn button down until everything stops flashing. And I'm gonna get it out in the shade where I can see it. It should be paired now. Let's see what happens when we put something in front of it. Okay, so you see that we had some motion detected and the alarm went off. So now it's successfully paired. Anytime you sense any motion, you should hear that. Okay, so now it's successfully paired. Okay, so once you've got it paired, then you're ready to mount the sensor. You can either mount it permanently or temporarily, and some of the uses we'll talk about in just a minute. But real quickly about the sensor itself, it has a 40-foot, up to a 40-foot sensory range, and about a 12 to 15 degree radius that it's going to sense outward. This particular model has up to a quarter-mile range between the sensor and the receiver. So we're actually going to do a distance test on the unit in just a minute, but before we do that, let me just a little more rambling about what I think might be some alternate uses for this thing other than just as a driveway monitor. One of the things that immediately came to mind for me is, as if you're camping somewhere, you don't have to worry about somebody messing with you. If you are in one of those bug out situations or whatever, one or a few of these could be a good perimeter alarm for a campsite. If you have an outbuilding you want to monitor maybe that you don't have an alarm on, you could actually mount this facing the doorway of the building inside, and unless it's a huge building, then anybody opens the door, this alarm's going to go off. You could actually get several of these and put them out and pretty much have your own James Bond detection system. Maybe if you're night hunting, you could actually use this to let yourself know when an animal's coming down the trail, if that's legal to do. Just a lot of different uses, I think, for this little device. And honestly, if you have a long driveway, it can definitely come in handy there too, just let you know somebody's coming down your driveway. So I've been trying to figure out how to test the distance on this thing. What I thought I'd do, I'm going to set up the camera with a receiver here in range of the microphone, and then I'll walk out at different distances, and we'll just see how far this thing actually goes, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Oh, also, I'll tell you how you can save 10% on one of your own Guardline driveway monitors. So let's get to that right now. Okay, as you can see, we're in a totally different location. I tried to do the distance test, but I was by myself, and the wind noise was so bad I couldn't tell if the thing was going off or not once I got out beyond a couple hundred yards. So now when I finally get time to redo it, it is like 20-something degrees here in Georgia, ice all over the place, and it's freezing out here, but I do have some help. So I'm here at the golf course. I thought this would be another good place to check some distance. First thing before we do that, we're going to check the range of this thing. You can see I've got it tied to a tree here like you would use maybe in a temporary situation. We're going to go ahead and just kind of turn everything on, walk past it, and kind of back the camera up, let you kind of see what kind of range of coverage you get. And you'll notice this thing is actually swivels up and down, so you can set it to point high or low. That way you don't have to worry about pesky small animals setting it off. Okay, so we got the receiver here. We're going to turn it on and set it down here where you can hear it from the camera. Just going to walk by. You can see I've got the sensor straps on the tree over here, so let's just see how well it works. That's about 10 feet from the sensor. Let me back out here a little bit. We're out like maybe 20 feet from the sensor now. Okay, so now you can see the sensor out there, probably 30, 35 feet out from it. Let's see what happens. Okay, I think we're like 50 feet. That's like at least 60 feet from the sensor. I'm gonna call that good. Okay, so now for the distance test, what I thought I would do is, I'm just gonna hold my finger over this thing so it doesn't keep going off and bugging you. And I'm gonna walk out at 100-foot intervals. Every 100 feet, I'll remove my finger. We'll see if it goes off, and then I'll go back another 100 foot. So I've got my son Eric here running the camera. We're gonna have phone contact with each other so we can, I can hear it because the wind's blowing today. Also, we'll wrap this thing up because it is cold out here, and I'm a Georgia boy and I don't like it.
200 feet, 300 feet, 400 feet, 500 feet, 600, 700, 800, 900.
There were 1,000 feet. If you have $5 and Chuck Norris has $5, Chuck Norris has more money than you. Okay, well, I'm going to wrap this thing up. As you saw, I was out over the hill. At best guesstimation, 1,000 feet. I was pacing it off. I'm pretty good with my pace count, but definitely a long, long way. Again, I think I'm really impressed by the variety of possible uses for this thing. Again, totally impressed by the fact not only do they offer a lifetime warranty, they also have US-based customer service and tech support up in the Pacific Northwest. So I got to give them thumbs up for that. Also give them thumbs up for offering you a 10% discount through February the 28th, 2017. Just go to their website. I'll put a link probably right up here, and there'll be one in the description. And you can go to their website and save 10% on this. Just use the coupon code Survival on Purpose, no spaces or anything. Again, that's good till February the 28th, 2017. So if you're watching this video after then, the discount code is probably expired, but it's still a great deal for a wide variety of uses, pretty much anything you need to monitor. So once again, thanks to the folks at Guardline for sending me this so I can show it to you and for sponsoring this video. As always, thank you for watching Survival on Purpose. Thanks for subscribing, thanks for clicking that thumbs up, for sharing this video with all your friends. Thank you so very much for doing all your Amazon shopping through the Survival on Purpose links. I really appreciate the support. Man, my mouth is so cold I can't hardly talk. So once again, my name's Brian. You're watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival's not an accident. So be prepared. I'll see you next time. Man, it's so cold I can't even think. My fingers are numb. And then we'll do some real world. I'd never make it in Minnesota.